and welcome to Health Talk, a service of Pikeville Medical Center, a time we get together to discuss some wonderful things that are going on in and around our community and at Pikeville Medical Center. Today is no exception. We're going to be talking about a very exciting event coming up in August that you are definitely going to want to participate in. Today's guest, Whitney Hogg, PR Assistant Director at Pikeville Medical Center, and the new Leonard Lawson Cancer Center Director, Natalie Coleman. Welcome, ladies.
Welcome. Thank you for having us.
Whitney, no stranger to Health Talk. This is your first time, Natalie, being with us. No stranger to the hospital, though, but you have a new position at the Leonard Lawson Cancer Center. Tell us a little bit about your position.
I do. I actually was working on the inpatient side of cancer services for 9 years, and I just transitioned a few weeks ago to the new director position, and it's been an adventure, to say the least. I've kind of been, just thrown into everything and getting to meet a lot of great people, a lot of great patients, and, focusing on providing quality cancer care.
Certainly so. I know you have a lot of goals for your department and for the center. Talk a little bit about some of those goals.
Our goals right now that we're setting is to kind of try to streamline our department, trying to get patients in and get patients out faster and to see their doctors faster, because we realize that this is a very sick population of patients, and we're trying to provide care as quickly as possible so that we can streamline that and get them, the care that they need.
Certainly so. And the care that they need is something that we're going to talk about today, and it's the reason that we're doing the Colors of Courage 5K Run Walk coming up in August. Very exciting event. Very widely attended too. Whitney, I know last year we had a lot of people. We're going to talk about attendance, but why do we need the fundraising event? Because this money does not go back into the center's pocket. It's for the patients.
Oh, absolutely. Aside from the cost of the race that we pay for, every penny goes back to benefit the patients. We have an account, and we provide things like gas cards, hotel lodging. We help provide medications for patients that they need. And in the economic times that we're having, patients are less and less able to afford those things. Just as far as like the stats, 2013, they estimated that it was $74.8 billion was the cost of cancer care. And, in the times that we're having, a lot of people are unemployed, people are unable to, keep insurance, to pay for those services. It's very, very expensive, even if you do have the funds.
One of the things that it takes care of too, you mentioned the gas cards and the lodging, but there's also a nutritional component that people don't realize, because sometimes the loss of appetite is a big thing with cancer patients, and fruits and certain kinds of vegetables, which can run into a lot of money.
It can, absolutely. And that's another service we provide too. We provide when the patients are there receiving infusion therapy services or cancer chemo services. They actually are served a nutritious lunch. They do sandwiches, they do fruits, milk, things like that. So that helps to pay for that as well.
Last year's event was a huge success. Lots of people attending, lots of money raised. How did we do, though, with attendance compared to the goals that we've set for this year?
Last year we had nearly 1,000 participants. We were right around 980, and we raised $25,000. So that's what we got to hand back to the cancer center patients. So that was an exciting number. And of course we don't set a goal, but we always want to exceed what we did the year before. And this being our third Colors of Courage, we've done that so far. So we hope to continue to do that this year.
How do the patients qualify for assistance once they come to the center?
We have a financial director there. He's a social worker. His name is Richard, and they give their stated income to Richard, and based on their need, we provide a percentage of whatever it is that they need covered, whether it be, gas to be able to come back and forth to radiation treatments, or if the patient simply can't afford or is unable to go back and forth, we help provide lodging. And we've had patients who are on expensive medications that they can't afford to pay for all of those. The insurance won't cover all of it, and we provide assistance in getting a percentage of that paid.
It's called the Colors of Courage, and there are different colors that represent each type of cancer. We'll get into some of those in just a moment. But why is there such an emphasis? Do you do them by group, or does everybody just mingle together?
Everyone has their own color. What we try to do is if you have someone in your family you've lost to cancer, or someone who is fighting the battle of cancer, each cancer has a different color. For instance, lung is white, the one that most people know is breast cancer being pink. And during this day, we let people wear any color they want. Some people come multicolored because they've had many family members that have been diagnosed with several different types of cancer.
Will you be having, I know this is one of the fun things that you do, a colors costume contest?
We do. We have most creative and most colorful.
Okay, so if you're listening and you're wanting to participate, you have enough time now to get your costume together and participate in that particular contest. But let's talk about the date of the race and the time.
The date is August 20th, and it starts at 9 a.m. at the East Kentucky Expo Center.
Okay, now do you register that morning or can you pre-register in advance?
You can do either. If you pre-register, it is $20. If you register the day of the race, it's $25. And then a group of 8 or more is $15.
Okay. Now last year I know that you did something really neat, and that was the balloon launch. Talk a little bit about that experience.
We do. We have balloons there for purchase, which that money also goes into the proceeds of the race, and you can ride on it in memory of whoever, or strength in numbers. People wrote different things like that. And once the race is concluded, we let everyone release those balloons at the same time.
We talked about registration. It's important to register early because everybody wants those coveted race T-shirts. Now,
Yes.
you need to go ahead and get pre-registered. Let's talk about the pre-registration process.
You have until August 12th, it's the Friday before the race, to register, and you will guarantee a T-shirt.
Okay. Now, racing events in town are timed, so for the people who are a little bit more advanced, they can check their time. But it doesn't necessarily mean that if you've never been a runner or a timed walker that you can't participate.
Absolutely. We time everyone. We use tri-state timing out of Charleston, West Virginia, and the reason we time everyone is we've had a lot of people who are cancer survivors who do this race, and they love we've had people who've had a lung transplant who walked it our first year, and he finished it in under an hour, which is really impressive. He walked with a mask on, and he was so excited to be able to do that. So we time even the runners and the walkers because both want to see what their time is.
Yeah, and when you go and even if you're not running or walking and you're just a spectator, when you see people like the gentleman that you're speaking about who has had a lung transplant, who was out there not doing it for the time, but doing it just because he can, it gives a whole new meaning to why we do events like this in town.
It definitely does. This is one of the more emotional races that are in town, I do believe. You see so many people there, families coming together to show support for people who are fighting cancer right now or that they've lost, and they'll have shirts that say, in memory of or team whoever, and it just gives it a different meaning.
New to this race this year for the third one is the early bag pickup. Now, why is that necessary and how does that work?
Well, we've had such a great response with this race, almost 1,000 participants both years, and it's hard to have that many people come and pick up bags. So for the convenience of all of our participants, we will be having early bag pickup on the Friday before in the Public Relations Department office, which is located on Main Street. It's in the Medical Leader Building. We do it from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. That way people can come in, pick up their bag. They don't have to get there early on Saturday. They just need to show up for race time. It makes it easier on everyone.
This is such a huge event, and I know, Natalie, you're so thrilled to be a part of it too, but it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort. When you talk about 1,000 people, and the majority of those that do pre-register for an event like that, it takes a lot of extra hands to put something like this on.
Absolutely. We have been doing committee meetings. We're actually meeting every other week, and when we hit the month of the race, we're actually going to start meeting weekly to be able to stay more organized and be able to, make sure that we've got everything fine-tuned.
Sponsorships are something that we still are looking for, and like we said, it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, and it does take money to put on races like this. So sponsorships are available. How does someone or a business go about being a sponsor of the race?
If you would like to be a sponsor, you can contact our office at 218-4509. You can ask for me, Amy Charles, or if you tell anyone in our department that you're wanting to sponsor this race, they will definitely take your call.
Yeah, they're not going to let you get away.
They're not going to let you get away. We try as hard as we can to make this race be as cheap as possible. We purchase T-shirts. Most races do that. We have our timer. That way we can have the correct awards given out. But other than that, we don't spend money. We get food donated. We get water donated, drinks donated. And the community has been so helpful behind this race. And we've already had several people commit to donating money to it and being sponsors again this year.
There are different levels of sponsorships available too, though.
There are different levels, and we'll take anything. You know, one of the neatest things I think we talked about in our last committee meeting is how many patients' families send in a check. I live in Winchester. I'm not going to be able to attend, but here's $50. Thank you so much for taking care of my mother. You know, we drove 2 hours to you all twice a week, and you know, they're still giving money back to help other patients.
When you help to save a family member's life, it puts things in a totally different perspective. I was talking before we started today about my experience with my father being a cancer patient at the center, and it really does become one big family that you never expect to have.
Absolutely. I mean, everybody gets to know everybody. You've got patients sitting beside each other in chemo chairs discussing, you know, their personal cancer journeys and stuff. And they come there for treatment, but they a lot of times leave, you know, with more, like, they befriend other people and staff and everything. It really becomes a big family.
We always say that cancer knows no bounds. It doesn't care who you are, what financial background you come from, what educational background you come from. But when you become a cancer patient, there's a certain commonality that, like you said, they can sit and talk about their journeys, and it's a very therapeutic thing too. If they're taking their treatments, or if they're just in to get their ports flushed or something like that, or just take IV fluids, they really take that time to bond together, and it makes it so much easier for them.
And I think it's helpful for them to be able to have somebody who's been through that same situation, even if it's not the same cancer. They've lived through that same circumstance, the bad news of it, and having to do treatment, and you know, both being cancer survivors and being able to celebrate that and to, you know, work together, you know, to fight and be in their journey and stuff. I think it's really helpful for them to have somebody to talk to.
It certainly is. I can speak from experience. Now, we talked about the sponsorships and the cost involved, but you also are looking for people that just want to come and volunteer their time. So you're needing volunteers to do certain different kinds of jobs. What are they?
Absolutely. We have people who work water stations, who can help us serve food. There's so many different jobs. We like cheerleaders. You know, we have a lot of local cheerleading teams come in. I know Shelby Valley came to a race we had back in April, and people loved that. They loved being cheered on when you would turn on Hambley Boulevard, or when you came back around on the bypass, and we had cheerleaders set up. That gives you encouragement, and we have jobs for anyone.
They certainly do. How do they become a volunteer?
The same thing as being a sponsor. If you'd like to just give us a call at our office.
Very easy to do. And
Absolutely.
you will not, again, won't be turned away for anything. Now, let's talk about the registration process one more time, because we don't want to leave today without people knowing exactly when, where, how, all the ins and outs of registration and pre-registration.
You can register online at tristateracer.com/Colors of Courage, and on there you can just go in, fill out your information, and you're ready to go, and you can come to bag pickup. That's the next thing you need to do. Other than that, we have brochures all over the community. They're located, they'll be in Food City soon in your bags, Velocity. We have just covered the community doing that. And if you do that, you can either drop it off at our office on Main Street in the Medical Leader Building, or you can mail it in, attention to Whitney Hogg.
Okay. Talk about the discount for teams one more time, if you would, as we close.
If you have a team of 8 or more, it's $15. The only thing with that is to do it online, you have to pay for your whole team of 8 with one debit card.
Okay.
You can't do it individually. So that's the only downfall to the online registration. But like I said, you can drop them off to us. You can call us. We'll come pick them up. Anything we can do to help you out.
We'll make sure you get registered
Yes.
and ready to run. Now, you do normally feed everybody. Are we doing that again this year?
We are. We are still looking for a company or volunteers that would like to donate food for the race, but we will be feeding everyone again.
Okay, so after you run and you get your exercise in, then you get to have a great lunch, and I've seen that, and it'll be wonderful. Last year, over 1,000 participants. I would say that we're going to go for a goal of over 1,000 again.
We definitely are. We
Yeah.
want to get as many people as we can involved.
We are recapping now. It is the Colors of Courage 5K. Here's the brochure that you can see right here. You can find these anywhere, Whitney, as you said. The race date is August 20th. Now let's remind some of the dates that we need to pre-register by to make sure we get the t-shirt.
August 12th, you need to register so you can be sure to get a T-shirt.
Okay, August the 12th.
Mm-hmm.
And then the packet pickup is going to be the day before on the 19th.
Yes.
Where's that going to be?
That will be at the Medical Leader Building on Main Street from 9 a.m. to 7
And
p.m.
you can't miss it.
You can't. You come on
Very
the first
easy.
floor and we will be there.
218-4509 is the number to call. They can ask for you or anyone involved with the Colors of Courage race. Of course, you can pick up your registration forms, as Whitney and Natalie have talked about, anywhere around town, certainly at the Medical Leader Building. And if you can't find it there, you can always contact us here at the station. We'll make sure that you get those. But the most important thing to do is find your color. Find your color of courage. And like you said, I love what you said. People come dressed for the contest in all different tie-dye of colors because cancer affects so many different people from so many different walks of life. And whether it's breast cancer, brain cancer, lung cancer is what my father suffers from. So that's something that we're really keyed into. Leukemia, ovarian cancer, colon cancer. Cancer knows no bounds. But you find your color, you show up at the event. And what a great way, if you've just finished up treatment or your loved one has just finished up treatment, to come and run or walk for them. And you don't have to be an avid runner to do this.
You don't. That's the one thing about this race as well. We do have our group of avid runners who do most 5Ks in Pikeville, but you will notice that a lot of participants are walking it.
Yes.
They're with their family. They're spending time with them. So it's really nice to see that as well.
Really just a coming together of the community to support our patients, not the Leonard Lonsard Cancer Center itself, but our patients who are serviced there, which are the most important, Natalie.
Absolutely. Our staff, this is one of their favorite events. They've done everything. Our chemo room girls one year walked and they were dressed in multicolored tutus. So they love to get out there and support their patients and to walk alongside their patients and see their patients doing well.
Whitney Hogg, Natalie Coleman, thank you both for being here today and talking about this wonderful event. It will be here before we know it.
It will
Coming
be.
up August 20th. Get pre-registered today. And of course, if you don't get pre-registered, you can always register the day before. But we encourage you, because of time and busyness, to get pre-registered. And make sure you get your T-shirt. Certainly so. Guys, thanks for being here.
Thanks for
Thank
having
you.
us.
This has been Health Talk, a service of Pikeville Medical Center. Until next time, good day.